my friends. Today I woke up and I said, I want to do a very neutral matte eye with some black tight lining and a little skinny wing. That's what I want to do today. I'm going to start with this Armani eyeshadow. This color is just so good for me. It's basically my skin tone. And I don't want you to feel like you have to go find one of these, but what I will tell you to add to your collection is an eyeshadow that is the same color as your foundation. It's a game changer. And I'm using the side of the E29 just to tap and smooth that across. I'm actually going to take a little bit more and I'm going to wipe off the wand because I don't want too much, but I want to cover up my little freckle there. There we go. And then to keep it covered, and if we need coverage of any kind, we're going to switch to a C31. Where we were till it ran away. Hang on. So our C31 is going to be able to smooth it out, but also keep the coverage. Anytime you have dense bristles, you're going to get coverage. Look at how good that looks. It just evens everything out. And I feel like it just gives a very satiny finish to the eyelid. And also I feel that it really kind of hides any kind of texture on the lid too. So, and that's not just this formula. What I'm trying to say is anytime you have an eyeshadow that's going to be your skin tone, that's what it's going to do. Too light and it could enhance the crepiness. I have crepiness, well, I'm not calling anybody out, but my almost 36-year-old eyelids are, they're a little more crepey than I remember. So I do find that with finding your perfect match, it really does help disguise things that we might want to disguise. And if you're thinking, Rose, why aren't we just using concealer? Concealer can sometimes start to move around, especially where we have a lot of friction, where we blink. Another reason is because liquid eyeshadow or even a shadow stick is going to be self-setting, so that's also a bonus. It means we don't have to set it. We got a tight line. This is my favorite. This is actually a waterline pencil. So I can't recommend this enough. And the reason why I love it so much is because it just glides on, and I don't glides on that too. Y'all know I'm from Texas. It glides on and you don't have to keep going back and forth. There we go. Also, bent liner brush holding that up. It's the bee's knees. Now, we're still going to use our E26 in a more traditional way, but do you notice how I just barely touch that and this pops out? That's so easy, especially if you wear contacts like I do. There we go. Now, the thing about tight lining is it can actually be very unflattering. It's very much a trust the process. Because what happens is when you put black and you have no extension out this way or this way, it can kind of close off the eye. So we're going to trust that process and we're just going to keep trucking here, okay? We're not done. This can close off the eye. It's not a bad thing. I feel like a lot of times I see even different creators, more creators focused towards mature skin, they can be very judgmental when it comes to this style, but it's not wrong. I'm just telling you what it does. Now, I can take the pencil and I can kind of just wiggle it up. And what I'm doing is when I do this, I'm keeping it very tight in the lash line. When we come from on top like this, we can add too much and then we're not technically tight lining. It just turns into more of an eyeliner moment. Not bad, we're just teaching different techniques here. So how I recommend doing it, because this can be a little hard to do and it can also feel very uncomfortable. We're gonna grab our E26 and we're just gonna grab some of the liner here. Or we could even grab a black eyeshadow base, but I'm gonna be able to do it with this. And since this is a bent liner, what we can do is we can just kind of blink on it. And let me give you another tip. If your eyes feel very ticklish, let me show you that. This is gonna be a very weird reference, but it's gonna make a lot of sense. So you remember when we were young and maybe we would fall down and hurt our knee, I remember myself, or really all of my friends, what you would do is you would put pressure around it to kind of take away from that sting. Now, while this isn't a sting, it's still a very uncomfortable, it can be a very uncomfortable feeling. So what I like to do is I'll touch the area around it that I'm kind of fiddling with. And I want to see how I'm holding it like that. It's going to be a lot easier to get in here and keep it really close to the lash line. But what I'll do is I'll just continue to touch it and even pull it up a little bit. You could do this with just about any little dense brush. But you're able to really get in here and work around that lash line and really get in there, but then you're not ticklish because you have that extra point of contact. So if you've ever been ticklish around your eye, touching kind of above that area that you're ticklish in is the game changer, honestly. It's wild. And then a bent liner brush to smudge in here is, don't sleep on it, y'all. All right, so what we're gonna do now, you see how I'm bringing out the smudge a little bit more over here? And the reason why is because what we mentioned earlier, we need some sort of angle upwards. See how it's already creating a little bit more dimension out this way? Now this is one of my favorite things to do. I'm not gonna start my wing just yet, but what I like to do is I like to open my eyes really, really wide, and then I'm gonna try to find that separation. And you're gonna just find your eye separation. I'm gonna do a little twirl. Okay, so now I have product there. We're gonna grab that E26, and I'm just gonna start to kind of bring this out this way just a little bit. I'm still not really doing, I'm gonna do a lifted wing, but I'm gonna use liquid liner for that. But I'm kind of still just creating a shadowy shape to elongate my eye. This is so easy to do with this brush. Oh, we're in a meeting. Oh, I love this already. I'm so excited. Okay, we're almost to the liquid part. Now at this stage, it's gonna be best to get our concealer on before we work underneath here, but we can get a little bit of a lift going here. I'm gonna have to shut my door. This is micellar water on our C30, and we're gonna start. It's all falling apart here at my home, y'all. These noises. We're gonna start kind of lifting and shaping. I have questions. I'm not sure I'll get answers, but I have questions. Now we're gonna do a more precise line. So we're gonna grab this liquid liner. It's always important to shake up your liquid liners. I love this one, the Sephora collection. This one's also waterproof. And I'm just gonna start there. And then if it looks a little off, I love just kind of cleaning it up in this stage before it completely sets. Oh, that's what I'm after. And then I'm gonna fill in this gap a little bit more. Perfect. That's what I envision. I also want to teach you something. I feel a lot of times we would just, to extend this, we would want to keep adding product. By product, I mean the liner. So instead, let's use the tiniest amount of micellar water and just extend this. It's so much easier, and we're not adding too much product. All right, I'm just gonna do mascara. I am gonna curl my lashes though. And also a really good tip is, I didn't show it here, but let me just show you. Take some loose powder, and I'm talking a wispity wisp, and we're just gonna make sure our lashes are extra dry. Whenever your lashes have any kind of skincare, sunscreen, even the oils that our body naturally produces, if it's in your lashes at all, they are not going to hold, no matter what. So we want them very, very dry, even before we curl them. Put on my mascara, I wanna add a little bit of depth, and I just love how neutral this palette is. This is that Revlon one that we've been using, and I'm just gonna shape a little bit here. I'm using an E27. The ruckusin in this house. That is truly a ruckus. And then let's add a little bit here. I'm just gonna leave it open in the center. Fun. And I'm just gonna make sure it's a little bit more precise. And I'm using the center of the brush to kind of place and press this. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade, if I can figure out how to pick it up. And then we'll just clean this up a little bit here. He doesn't know his available options. So I'm actually gonna be posting an ad for them tomorrow. This is just showing you how honest we have been over the past 11 years. Tomorrow in my story, it will be an ad. And it will say ad, this is not an ad. And you think about it, technically, I could be sneaking around. I don't. In fact, I have this one and I've had it for months because I was testing it to make sure that I liked it and I love it. But that being said, I wanted the waterproof because I love waterproof. And when you use a cleansing balm to take makeup off, waterproof, you don't even think about it. You're not like, oh, this is a struggle. So we're gonna do this one. This is the new one from Maybelline. It's called Firework Mascara. And I love it. I love it so much. And that's why. Plus it's more on the affordable side. Oh, it's so good. I'm so excited for the waterproof. And I think what I like about it, I should probably just save this for tomorrow, but I don't want to touch it with my finger. Let me get this, and I have an alcohol wipe. If you're wondering why I'm being so dramatic about that, it's because anything around my eye, I don't want to touch with my finger, even though I know my fingers are pretty clean. But yeah, I don't look at that. What I'm showing you is alcohol wipe, okay? But what I'm showing you is I love the way that this moves. Ding, ding, because when it moves like that, it's able to kind of adapt to your eye. And I love it. I love it. So this is my second coat. I'll do 2 coats today. Whee! That's literally what I think in my mind. For those of you who follow along daily, it is time to go eat. And today is Tea Room Tuesday. That's where we support our local tea room. And I get a cucumber sandwich. So I'll be back in a little while. I actually have a couple things that I need to film. So I'm just gonna come back. I don't know where I'm gonna be in the process, but we'll definitely finish lips together. But I definitely wanna finish underneath here because this is kind of a tight lining tutorial for sure. So once I get where I'm at, I'll be back. I'm back, and y'all, I have on powder foundation. I have on my Laura Geller, but then I have this underneath. Have y'all seen this? That doesn't even look like powder foundation, but I got the coverage that I needed. And I wanted to use powder foundation on top of these little scabs because I knew it would kind of smooth them more, so I thought we'd do that. This is good. It has a bunch of skincare in it too. So I would say, I'm mentioning that. So in case, I always have my skincare on. So if we want to put this on top, we would just scale back that skincare a little bit. But let me show you what this actually looks like too. All right, so here's what it looks like. You're gonna see that it has this really cool sheen to it. It will work in and you won't see color, but what it does leave is, I mean, you're seeing it. It's just kind of peeking through that powder foundation. But once you get it worked in, there's absolutely no cast whatsoever. And I'm showing you that. When the light isn't hitting it, you'd be able to kind of see it sitting on top there, but there's no cast. And it completely dries down. It's a gel, so it just feels like I'm putting skincare. But again, I want to make sure you're not putting on too much skincare because there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. There really is. But this is really, God, I wish you could feel my face. You'll see it with back camera. That's like standing here, but there's a baby at the door. But I'm kind of blown away right now. Anyways, I think I'm convinced I like primer again, but I feel like primers are so different now. They're basically just gel skincares, which is what I like anyway. So the way that gels go underneath makeup for all skin types, because I'm balanced to dry, and this is a powder foundation, but even if you're oily, this would just be so beautiful. I'm sorry. I love this. This is actually the wrong shade. Can we not fight? Don't get in his bed. I don't want to hear it. Don't get out of his bed. We're fighting. I'm so sorry, but I just loved this. And if you're wondering, a lot of you want to know how it compared to the 𝗕𝗂𝘂, which I haven't used the 𝗕𝗂𝘂 in a long time. We've had some advancement. I feel like I used that 𝗕𝗂𝘂 in 2020. I was one of the first people that started using it. I fell in love with it, but I feel like this is thinner. This is a thinner texture. The way that it kind of just really melts into the skin. We've had some advancements. There's been advancements. That looks so good. Are we on a phone call together again? Oh my gosh, I love this bronzer. I feel so terrible for loving it. But you know what? I'm not really digging in here, so I feel like it's one that's gonna last a long time. My skin looks good today. Now I was gonna use this for blush, but I wanna film with it first. And you know how affordable these are? I was gonna put it on my eye too, and then I wanted to use it kind of as a blushy. I think this wouldn't even be a topper. I feel like it's pigmented enough to be a blush, but y'all know how affordable these Kiko Milano things are. So in case you're wondering why I'm not putting on, it's because I want to film a video with it. Now we're gonna finish tight lining. We're gonna grab our E26. We're gonna flip it around. And we're just gonna let this ever so lightly creep out. And this just adds volume at the base of the lash. And anytime there's volume there, it's just gonna make your lashes look a lot fuller. So it kind of just fills in gaps. And I'm right at the lash line. Then we're gonna grab the shadow again, grab it on an E27. And we can just really clean up underneath here. And since it's our exact shade, we just tap it underneath there and it gives us super clean under eye here. And then we don't have to worry about powder again because it's a liquid shadow and it's self-setting. I'm actually gonna post some in a hurry tips tonight, and that's one of them. I never do lip colors like this, but I've been wanting to try this. And I feel like the eye look is simple enough. So I think I might grab a lip liner. Oh, it's so pretty. I like it. I should wear colors like this more often. All right, before it dries, let me grab a lip liner. This is the shade 517, and I thought it'd be pretty perfect. It's a little bit more peachy, but it's gonna add some definition. Perfect. And then if I can hustle enough, I can add a little bit more lipstick just to make sure it's nice and blended. But I don't want to put the lipstick on top of a dried layer of lipstick, then it won't last. I'm a ventriloquist at this point. This color is Summer Perfection. Now we're gonna put this on top. And this would last 12 hours. 12 hours is the longest I've worn it. I know it could even last longer, but me and makeup for 12 hours, that's it. That's all you're getting out of me. We're not seeing past 12. 13, not an option. And one more little tip. If you want to extend the inner corner, remember there's still product in the E26, so we're gonna grab a little bit of clear base. I use this for everything. It's from Milk. I'm surprised that I'm not the spokesperson for it at this point. I feel like I'm the only person that uses it, but I use it every single day. So what we're doing is we're kind of using this as an activator, and we're just going to ever so lightly extend the inner corner this way. Works like a charm. Just that little bit, look how much more elongated that side is than that side. And then the E26 is just perfect for this. And again, if you're feeling ticklish, grab another brush, any brush, and just, I don't feel ticklish, but I just want to remind you, you can even hold it and extend it this way, and that little extra pressure around where you're feeling ticklish really will make a difference. This lip is so glowing. That is so pretty, so pretty. I'm tidying this up in here with just a little bit of my NARS pot concealer. We want to use a pot concealer because we're gonna have the most control, and I'm doing that with the C30. I'm using the smallest amount. you didn't have to do this, but I'm just super meticulous when it comes to these things. All right, I'm done. I'll come back. You know how I show with back camera, I'll have the blush on then. Well, the blushy shadow, the 2-for-1 special with this lip. I am going to finish out the summer wearing this color. I feel so pretty with this lip color on. Do you remember when we were young? Anybody? And like, say like the 3rd or 4th time you ever put lipstick on and you're trying out different shades, and then you put one on and you're like, oh, ooh, that's kind of how this makes me feel. It gives me a little bit of that feeling, and it's really sweet. Oh, and before I go, I know y'all are gonna ask me what I think about the Laura Geller. I have on the Laura Geller right now, and I like the Laura Geller because I just feel that it's so skin-like, okay? But I'm still gonna be able to see a little bit of my freckles peeking through, but it's still super even, and it feels like I have on foundation. So I reached for that one for a more, I don't wanna say natural, but just a more my natural look. And it just depends. Okay, I love you. He's walking to check the mail and he's telling me. And then compared to the Natasha Denona powder foundation, this one is full coverage. Now it's the most skin-like full coverage powder foundation that I've tried so far, but it's still not something I would reach for just to throw on to go to the airport. I feel like this one's more of a commitment, but it's fantastic, and it's the best version of that level of commitment. But if you're someone that's just wants to even out your skin, you're kind of in a hurry, I would suggest the Laura Geller. I love you so much. I love you with all of my heart, in case nobody's told you today. I'm gonna be posting tonight, and it's going to be kind of in a rush tips. I'm excited to post it. Y'all are gonna love it. I think y'all will. There's some good stuff there. All right, I love you, and I'll see you in the comments tonight.